Huayu is a magical place where countless people overnight become famous, and many people accidentally fall off the altar, becoming the target of reports from the public in Chaoyang. Cao Yu has been reborn. He originally intended to be just a wealthy person quietly, but accidentally became popular in the entertainment industry. But he knew very well that the entertainment industry was too deep, and he didn't want to become a poor person, so he became a capital tycoon. Keywords of the novel. Huayu. I have become a capital tycoon without a pop-up window. Huayu. I have become a capital tycoon. Download complete text. Huayu. I have become a capital tycoon. Latest chapter reading. 1. Chapter 1. How does your old North Nose treat you? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. How does your old North Nose treat you? The most difficult thing to buy in the world is regret medicine, and what is more precious than regret medicine is that life can be revived once again. But this most incredible thing fell on Cao Yu 6 months ago. In Yanjing in July, the evening breeze dissipated the stuffy heat of the day, with a hint of coolness. On a crowded barbecue stall, the aroma of grilled meat mixed with laughter and joy fills this old alley with the atmosphere of fireworks. The vendor who knows how to do business also set up a TV outside, which was playing the recently popular "Why Don't You Come Over?" Some diners around were enjoying it. In front of a small table, Cao Yu was bragging with his friends while stripped the skewers. In his opinion, the TV series that is now in flames is like thunder in the sky. It's not that his aesthetics are different from others, but as a reborn person, he is well aware that the scene on TV has long been transformed into countless emoticons by future netizens. Brother, how did your old baby treat you? Across from Cao Yu, his friend Pang Yuan had already finished half of a box of beer, his face slightly tipsy, and he spoke with a big tongue. Don't always be the same as the old North Nose. My family Shu Shui is not old at all. She's only 38 years old this year, and she still has a charming demeanor. Upon hearing his friend call his current wealthy girlfriend, Lao Baby, Cao Yu rolled his eyes. If it were before his rebirth, he would definitely say, you should be sour, but not now. After all, it is only the beginning of the millennium, and the idea of, sister, I don't want to work hard, is not yet accepted. Cao Yu, male, nicknamed Cao Thief, although he comes from an authentic peasant background, he looks very fair and pure. In his previous life, he loved to dance with guns and sticks when he was a child. He studied in a martial arts school for several years, and later passed the entrance examination for the performance major at Beijing University with excellent martial arts skills and appearance. Unfortunately, it was a high vocational school. After the expansion of enrollment, higher vocational education is nothing at Beijing. There are quite a few beauties of the same level, such as Louis Fei, Jiang Yiyan, Zhou Yang, and others, all enrolled together. But they are all technical subjects, and I can't even speak, let alone integrate into that circle. 3 years of tuition still cost a lot of money, but after graduation, I didn't have the resources and connections, so I had to do martial arts and stunt doubles in various production groups. Although he occasionally shows his face and acts like a stubborn playboy, he is always lukewarm, let alone showing off. At the age of almost 40, a global crisis ravaged every industry and almost plunged it into a cold winter. In addition, the entertainment industry is dominated by fresh meat, and the competition is not about acting skills, but about traffic. As long as martial arts can rely on special effects, it will never be true. He, who was already about to become a martial arts expert, has no place to play. After getting drunk and preparing to go home to marry a wife, farm, and settle down, I woke up in 2002. After being reborn, how could Cao Yu allow himself to suffer twice and suffer the same sins? Of course, he didn't want to enter the entertainment industry. Although it is easy to make money in the entertainment industry. But his sword was on the wrong side, and shortly after his rebirth, he was lucky enough to be favored by a wealthy woman. Anyway, it's common for girls in school to go after wealthy women. Can't men just find a wealthy woman? What about the agreed gender equality? Besides, we are true love. However, Cao Yu's demeanor, in the eyes of Pang Yuan, who was a martial arts school classmate when he was a child and later served in the military with a strong sense of values, was shameful to eat a soft meal. Sure enough, after listening to Cao Yu's defense, Pang Yuan belched heavily and advised, "Not big. It's more than 1 round older than you, not big enough. I am a bandit, I like it, but you don't agree." Cao Yu retorted again. He mentioned his wealthy wife's name as Yang Shushue. After divorcing her husband who went to the beautiful country, she worked in film and television distribution and disc sales in Yanjing. Not only is there a cultural dissemination company under my command, but there are also hundreds of chain stores for image sales nationwide. In 2002, I already had 2 small goals in my assets. Setting aside wealth, Yang Shushue's appearance is indeed very good. Otherwise, after being reborn, how could Cao Yu be interested? Do you like it? 30 is like a wolf and 40 is like a tiger, be careful not to cry in the future. My friend Pang Yuan still wants to persuade me, thinking that Cao Yu is going astray. Tearful fart, I'm also Pan LV in Deng Xiaoxian. Don't worry about it. When he said this, Cao Yu was very proud. Fart. Pang Yuan sneered and said, "Pan, you can be considered careless. Donkey, when I was a child, I was pretty good and had some potential. Deng. Do you count? Xiao Hesian, you are indeed quite idle now. Can you not be idle?" Cao Yu is now covered by a wealthy woman, completely in a state of peace in later generations. Throughout the summer vacation, other students were looking for a cast and wanted to play a role, but Cao Yu had nothing to do every day, driving around in a rich woman's car. In the future, it will be Deng. Cao Yu pretended to boast, but in his heart, he said, "These days, my buddies have registered a bunch of domain names for websites that will become popular in the future, such as Taobao, JD, Me, 360, Weibo, Facebook. The value of these things will be at least a few small goals in the future, but I can't tell you. Although I feel a little proud in my heart, these investments cannot see any benefits in the short term, and I will have to wait for at least a year or even several years." Even recently, he contacted the person who registered for QQ. The American domain name of Com intends to buy it, but it is the most valuable one. In this lifetime, penguins must not let it slip. Not wanting to continue on this topic, Cao Yu said, "By the way, what are you doing in Yanjing this time?" "That movie, The Lion Roar of the East River, has been filmed. I've already finished filming, and I'm still showing my face, even though I'm just a minor." Pang Yuan tore off a piece of lamb and chewed it as he said, "These days, the cast of Zhang Dashu's Heavenly Dragon has been selecting actors. I plan to go see if I can mix up a character on the screen." Tianlong. The first reaction in Cao Yu's mind was the fairy-like appearance of Lu Tianxian. Pang Yuan across from him, drinking wine and looking longingly, said, "I heard that Wang Yuyan, the female protagonist of Tianlong, has already been confirmed. We are still in the same league at Beidian. Have you seen her? Why haven't you seen her before?" Cao Yu pursed his lips. In the previous life, he and Lu Tianxian were also in the same school, but with so many students from Beidian University, Lu Tianxian and Yifei had not spent much time in school. The two had no interaction at all, let alone in this life. "I haven't stayed at school for a few days, okay? It looks good, I just like that kind of thing. Is there anything wrong with it?" Pang Yuan shook his head and sighed, "I came to film Tianlong just to act with her. Watching it often is also pleasing to the eye. I don't know how good a rich woman is when I was young, but I mistook a young girl for a treasure." Cao Yu roasted in his heart and said with disdain, "Look at your success. It's just a little girl movie. Besides Lu Yifei, there are many beautiful women." "Hee," Pang Yuan sneered and said, "Your school is full of beautiful women. Didn't you want to find a young and beautiful one? What do you understand?" Cao Yu said, looking at the guy in front of him and laughing, your appearance can definitely play Zhuang Juxian. Damn it, you scold me. Pang Yuan was a bit injured. Who is Zhuang Juxian? If we say he is the second licking dog in Mr. Jin's pen, no one dares to call him the first. No, but your current temperament looks very suitable. Aren't you cursing me? Punish yourself 3 bottles, otherwise I won't forgive you. Too ruthless, change it. Another one is also acceptable. Pang Yuan smiled and held back for a while before saying, a bottle of wine, you're going to open it tomorrow and accompany me to audition. I'll be with you if I'm with you, who makes us brothers. Good brother, for a lifetime, do it. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. What song is this? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. What song is this? The next day, Cao Yu's domineering behavior stopped directly at the entrance of Zhongguancun Urban Netscape building, which was the audition site for the production team of Tianlong. Although supporting role have been chosen these days, there are still many people in the spacious corridor. Many men and women are anxiously waiting for their turn to show their acting skills or unique skills. In the room, Zhou Xiaowen and several other directors nodded and shook their heads, each small gesture touching everyone's hearts. There are really quite a few people. Arriving at the audition location and looking at the long queue in the hallway, Cao Yu was somewhat surprised. He couldn't help but think back to his previous life, where he had often experienced such things. His heart couldn't help but feel both sigh and emotion. Walking through the crowd, Cao Yu discovered many familiar faces, some of whom were classmates from school and some were future celebrities. I'll go submit the documents first, you can transfer them around as you please. As his friend left, Cao Yu found a place where he could see the audition scene from a distance and leaned against the wall, humming a tune, feeling a bit bored. Hey, back then, I also came here like this. Now, with a change of guns, it's different. There's no need to work hard for a character anymore. Cao Yu felt that his choice was very right. In the room, a beautiful girl is dancing gracefully in front of the camera in order to win the director's favor. The girl was dancing well and had something to do. Seeing it, Cao Yu hummed along with the dance and said, "Dreamer, familiar face, you are the gentleness I protect." Unconsciously, it matched the girl's dance movements, making Cao Yu's singing slightly louder than before. However, he still paid close attention to the influence, and the sound was not so loud that the people queuing in the distance could hear it. Throughout the vicissitudes of life, only love is an eternal myth. Tides rise and fall, never regretting the promise of true love. Young man, what song are you singing? Cao Yu was singing high when suddenly a strange voice came from beside him. The singing stopped, and Cao Yu turned around to find an old man with fluffy and disheveled gray hair, a long beard, and a body full of bacteria. Not to mention that Cao Yu spent nearly 20 years in the entertainment industry before his rebirth, even an ordinary person knows who this person is. Most people will be excited when they see this person, or they may think that their buddy is going to get angry. Because of this big beard, it was Zhang Jizhong, the producer of the drama, The Heavenly Dragon. However, Cao Yu appeared very calm, with a faint smile on his face, and said, "Director Zhang, I'm sorry for humming blindly. The song is good, can you sing it in full once?" Zhang Damao's reaction to the young man was somewhat strange, but he still smiled kindly. He just listened to a few words and felt that although this young man's singing skills are not very good, the melody and lyrics of the song are very good, which is very suitable for the love story of Qiao Feng and Ah Zhu. He can do the ending song of Tianlong. In this life, Cao Yu really doesn't want to enter the entertainment industry. He has experienced that in his previous life. Now, he only wants to be a wealthy person. Even if he relied on plagiarism like others, he was too familiar with the fate of Xia Luoqian's poor skills. Celebrities are good, but it's easy to get discouraged. Wait until Jiang Lang's talent is exhausted and he becomes an outdated celebrity, then fall into corruption and embark on an irreversible path that deviates from the general public's perception, and finally be reported by the enthusiastic Chaoyang masses. He has more choices now, why choose to enter the entertainment industry? Another reason is that your circle is too chaotic. After hesitating for a moment, a smirk appeared on Sunshine's face. I really sang blindly. Which school are you from? This young man appeared here, recognized himself, but still looked indifferent. It was his first time encountering him with a big beard, and he asked curiously again, feeling a bit reluctant to give up on this song. At this moment, not far away, many people had already cast envious and jealous glances, thinking that this kid's dog luck was really good, and he could even get along with the producer. From Beijing, I'm just accompanying my friends over to take a look. Cao Yu, on the other hand, spoke while thinking about how to find excuses to refuse leaving. Ding ding ding, at this moment, Cao Yu's phone rang again. Director Zhang, I'm sorry, I'll answer the phone. He politely apologized to Zhang Dumao, then took out the Moto V3 and walked to the side. This phone is quite expensive, several thousand yuan. A student actually uses such a high-end phone, it seems that there is not a shortage of money at home. Watching the figure of Cao Yu leaving, Zhang Dazhu, who knew countless people, suddenly felt a little regretful. This young man was not taken aback by himself, but appeared calm and capable of acting. If he could be invited to join the cast, perhaps he could get the song he just heard. Unfortunately, it's a great song. Shaking his head, since the other party was unwilling, he had no choice but to hold a thermos soaked in goji berries and walk towards the audition room. On the side, Cao Yu's phone call was from the wealthy woman Yang Shushue. Hello, Yang Jie, have you seen the Star Lord? How have we been talking? When will you be back? Yang Shushue's visit to Xiangjiang this time was suggested by Cao Yu to discuss cooperation with Xingye, with the aim of obtaining DVD distribution rights for movies that cannot be released in mainland China, as well as future cooperation intentions. Almost done, it's settled and we'll be back in a few days. Yang Shushue listened well and asked, Ayu, what are you doing? I'm auditioning with my friends, Cao Yu smiled. Interview. TV series or movies? Do you also want to be a celebrity? On the phone, the woman's voice was still very pleasant, and she was not surprised by Cao Yu's audition with her friends. Cao Yu is a student at Beijing University. Why did he attend Beijing University? It's not just about becoming a celebrity or an actor. It's Zhang Dashu's Heavenly Dragon, I'm too lazy to play it, and I heard that the male and female leads have already been confirmed. My friend plans to try a small role. Cao Yu is telling the truth, not to mention the supporting role. He doesn't want to play the leading role. If I have a wealthy girlfriend now, will I be short of money if I sell those domain names in the future? Why enter the entertainment industry if you don't lack money? Life is short, getting rich, traveling around the world, isn't it good to enjoy life? The woman on the other end of the phone didn't think so and smiled, Tianlong. I know, see you tonight. After speaking, the woman hung up the phone. I don't know how that guy Pang Yuan is doing either. Putting his phone into his pocket, Cao Yu's gaze searched for the shadow of his friend for a while, only to find that Pang Yuan was still queuing up. It seemed that he probably wouldn't be able to queue up for an hour. Hey, Cao Yu suddenly felt a bit regretful, regretting that he agreed to accompany this guy to audition yesterday and staying here was a bit boring. Moreover, nowadays mobile phones are not smartphones, without their favorite king, Weibo, and passing the time, only Snake and Tetris. Cao Yu, who is Cao Yu? Just as Cao Yu was troubled by how simple Tetris was, he heard someone shouting his name in the hallway. Cao Yu looked up and realized that the person calling him was a man who looked quite thin. Although he recognized him, he pretended not to know him and asked, I'm Cao Yu. What's up with you? I'm Zhou Xiaowen, the director of Tianlong. Come with me. The director named Zhou Xiaowen looked up and down at Cao Yu, and felt that the young man in front of him was pure and white, with a touch of nobility and simplicity. His image was indeed good, and he immediately smiled. Turns out it's director Zhou. He, I don't want to act. Cao Yu thought it was Zhang Dashu who instructed him to come, and his smile was full of apologies. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Am I that funny? Seeking reading and tickets, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Am I just that funny? Seeking follow-up reading and tickets, don't want to act. Zhou Xiaowen was taken aback. He had just received a call from the management and asked a Beijing student named Cao Yu to try Duanyu, one of the male leads. But this young man actually doesn't want to act. Impossible, right? Where can a student from Beijing not want to act? But judging from his appearance, it didn't seem like he was cheating. He immediately said, even the male lead doesn't want to play. Male number 1. Who is it? Cao Yu instinctively asked. In his previous life, he had seen Tianlong. There were 3 male leads, including Duanyu from Lin Jiying, Xiao Feng from Hujun, and Su Zhu from Gaohu. Duanyu. Upon hearing these 2 words, Cao Yu felt a bit confused. Isn't it said that the male and female protagonists have already been settled? Why do you suddenly need to change people? Is it still such an important role? Who has such great face? Can the production team pull themselves to audition? And Lin Jiying's Duanyu's image is very consistent. Although there are also traces of acting, overall it is still good. Why change it? Seeing Cao Yu in a daze, Zhou Xiaowen thought he was scared and smiled contentedly, saying, come with me. I will replace Lin Jiying, who will be the one selling fake drugs in the future. In fact, Cao Yu had a good impression of Lin Jiying in his previous life. It was a myth of the entertainment industry's longevity, but later he was suspected of selling fake drugs, which caused his image to collapse. Just play, I'm reborn, who am I afraid of? Although I'm not interested in the entertainment industry, it doesn't matter if I play around. Anyway, it's boring. It's okay to go and see it. Besides, I haven't auditioned for the male lead in my previous life, so let's experience it. With this idea in mind, he easily followed Zhou Xiaowen and walked towards another room. Is it him? Is he Cao Yu? When Cao Yu entered the room, Zhang Da's beard, who was leisurely drinking water, suddenly lit up in front of him. Previously, the management called and asked a man named Cao Yu to try his male lead, which made Zhang Damao very unhappy. His play is not without the experience of being forced to act by the capital. The normal operation is to first look at people, and if it is reluctantly possible, stay. If it is really not possible, even if it offends people, it cannot be accepted. After all, he is Zhang Dashu, and his position in the TV drama industry is extraordinary. But when he saw Cao Yu, he immediately remembered the song that this boy had sung, and his heart gave him a few extra marks. Cao Yu nodded to the director and producer sitting in the front row and looked around the room, only to find a woman wearing a light blue dress and delicate features on a chair in a remote corner, holding the script and watching intently. Lu Tianxian. Why is she also here? Under the light, Lu Tianxian, with a shawl of green hair and a pure and refined appearance, coupled with his serious and peaceful expression, made Cao Yu take a few more glances. However, the law of true fragrance did not play out on Cao Yu, and he only took a few more glances. So you're Cao Yu, huh, what a coincidence. At this moment, Zhang Damao laughed first and said, let's audition first. After it's over, we can talk about your song. As he spoke, he handed over a script and said, this is the scene you're going to perform. Take a look first. Cao Yu took the script and glanced briefly, realizing that it was actually a plot by Duanyu, and what he was going to perform was the scene of meeting Wang Yuyan for the first time. Generally, when selecting actors for a role, first introduce yourself, then randomly perform a segment in front of the camera, and that's it. Then go back and wait, and you may never reply to messages. But now the male lead is auditioning, so the process and requirements are naturally different. No wonder Lu Yifei is here. Are you going to play with me? For Cao Yu, this scene of selecting the male lead can only appear in his dream in his previous life. But now, it has become a reality. Although he just had a playful attitude. Everyone has come, it's good to play against the heavenly immortal. Anyway, it's just a show. Having made up his mind, Cao Yu focused on the lines of the script and simply skimmed through them. In fact, he doesn't have much to perform and doesn't have many lines, but it is extremely challenging for him to perform Duan Yu's dementia, shock, and low voice when he first saw Wang Yuyan. But for Cao Yu, this is nothing. Before his rebirth, he had worked as a licking dog and watched Heavenly Dragon several times. He also graduated from Beijing University and had the experience of experiencing the ups and downs of life for 40 years, which allowed him to master the acting skills of TV dramas with ease. Although he couldn't compare to some veteran actors, his acting skills were definitely on the line, performed by Duan Yu. That's not a small idea. But Cao Yu had no intention of acting, just memorized the lines and said, "All right, we can start now." So fast. The directors and Big Beard didn't expect that Cao Yu would be ready in just a few minutes without any preparation needed. Is this kid a genius? But the young man had already stood up, and Zhou Xiaowen had no choice but to come to the machine and say, "Duan Yu audition, everyone prepare." Lu Yifei slowly stood up on the chair, took a light step, and walked to the center of the room where the lights were gathering. Lu Tianxian truly lives up to his reputation. The light was even brighter. Although Lu Tianxian was not wearing any costumes, standing in front of the camera, she exuded a fairy-like aura, which made Cao Yu nod secretly. Start. Under the voice of Zhou Xiaowen, Lu Tianxian in the audience turned his head lightly and whispered, "Who is planting camellias here?" Cao Yu immediately walked into the camera, bowed and fell to the ground, saying, "I was ordered by Madam to plant camellias here and collided with Mississippi." Then slowly lift your head. At this moment, the close dot-up of the camera was completely placed on Cao Yu's face. When Cao Yu saw Lu Yifei's delicate and childish cheeks with a faint smile, there was still a feeling of being amazed, and his eyes were momentarily stunned. This is not a performance, it is a real feeling. But with this gaze, the four directors and Zhang Dashu in the seats all nodded. When Lu Yifei saw Cao Yu's gaze, she felt that the actor had a lot of drama in his eyes. At least he was stronger than herself, not just a little stronger, but much stronger. This kid has good acting skills, his gaze is very real. The impression of Cao Yu has increased a bit in Zhang Damao's heart. But just as he finished praising, a strange scene appeared next. According to the script, Cao Yu should have softened his knees and knelt down to kowtow to Lu Tianxian, then casually uttered his lines. "Sister Immortal, I've been thinking so hard. Disciple Duan Yu pays respects to Master." The lines are very natural and authentic, without any trace of performance. But he was originally here to play, hesitating whether or not to kowtow to a little girl. He didn't even kneel down, but instead remembered last night when he talked to his friend about Zhuang Juxian licking dogs. He chuckled at Lu Yifei. "I'm not a licking dog." Previously, Lu Yifei discovered that the person she was going to play with not only did not feel nervous during the performance, but also felt that he acted very well and should have some acting skills. Although Lu Yifei has not yet achieved great success with Heavenly Dragon and Divine Eagle, she still has confidence in her appearance. What's going on with your laughter? Am I just that funny? Other directors are also a bit confused. They were just fine, but why did they suddenly smile inexplicably? It's okay, Xiao Chao, do it again. Zhou Xiaowen shook his head, but the people arranged by the management still needed to be given another chance. Although the laughter was a bit strange, it was not a big deal. Everything is restored, starting from scratch. Lu Yifei spoke again and Cao Yu came on stage, but before he could speak, there was a faint commotion outside. Then, the door to the room was pushed open. A man dressed in sportswear walked in under the protection of his agent and two bodyguards. The person greeted several directors and glanced at Cao Yu, with a slightly displeased expression on his face, but didn't say anything. He found a chair and sat down. Lin Jiying. Cao Yu also instinctively turned around and immediately recognized the person who came as the once young man. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Because he is young. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Because he is young. Although everyone felt a bit helpless about Lin Jiying's appearance, they didn't pay much attention. Who makes the capital the biggest? Start. Zhou Xiaowen once again announced that the audition will continue. It was the same line, but this time, when Cao Yu looked at Lui Fei again, he no longer had the stunning gaze he had seen the first time, but rather was very casual. What's going on? This time, Zhang Damao and the directors are even more strange. Is this young man really acting? Aren't you here to go shopping? The first performance was not very good, but this time, it seems so casual. Cut. Lin Jiying on the chair, looking at Cao Yu's expression, let out a disdainful voice from her mouth, as if there was something missing. He was originally here, waiting in another room to sign a contract with the crew. When he heard that his confirmed role had an accident, he wanted to come and take a look. The result is this stinky fish and rotten shrimp. Although the voice was low, Cao Yu still heard it and glanced slightly at Lin Jiying's nearly 30, still looking at his face as if in his 20s. He, who was supposed to speak his lines, had this face in his heart. 20 years later, the almost ruined incident made him want to laugh. Card. Cao Yu's performance made Zhou Xiaowen a bit frustrated and he quickly shouted, intending to let Cao Yu rest for a while and check his condition. The face of the management cannot be slapped. This kid is competing with Duan Yu's kid. Can he act? What is he doing? Hee. Lin Jiying was already under pressure. It was said that someone arranged by the management came to audition, but when he saw Cao Yu's acting skills, he whispered to his agent that he was about to leave. At this level, you still want to grab my role? What kind of cow is it? Originally, Cao Yu had planned to finish his audition, so he kindly reminded Lin Jiying not to buy a Tesla in the future or drive carefully. But seeing the look down on oneself and the superiority of looking down on mainland actors, I immediately felt a little uncomfortable. Don't steam Mantu for breath. I'm a reborn man. What do you have to be good at? It's mainly you who cheat. He took a breath, adjusted his state, and then said to Zhou Xiaowen, sorry, let's do it again. How about you adjust it again? Don't worry. Zhou Xiaowen is worried that the management will be dissatisfied and needs to give Cao Yu more time. Zhang Damao, however, was thinking about Cao Yu's song and had already calculated that if Duan Yu was not allowed to play the role, it would be better to give him another role, such as Zhuang Juxian. No need. Cao Yu shook his head, with a look of confidence that did not match his age. That's good. Zhou Xiaowen agreed and immediately shouted, let's start. Who grows camellias here? Upon hearing the gentle voice, Cao Yu walked up to the camera and lifted his head. The stunning, surprised, and unbelievable expression he had just received instantly filled his entire expression. Completely a man, seeing the goddess's appearance, but very real. A few seconds later, he knelt down with a thud. Fairy sister, I've been thinking so hard. Disciple Duan Yu pays respects to master. Lui Fei awkwardly took 2 steps back, let out a soft shout, and exclaimed in surprise, You. In these 2 performances, Cao Yu performed more realistically, while Lui Fei was performing, standing tall and standing tall. Cao Yu got up from the ground, looking completely bookish, with a smile of apology that scared the goddess. He said, my surname is Duan Mingming, a native of Dali, and I have met a fairy sister. Card. Just this simple performance, Cao Yu's performance has already conquered several directors. Are all the new students from Beijing so strong? Just this gaze is not something that ordinary people can portray. In the film and television industry, actions are the simplest, followed by dialogue, facial expressions, and finally, eye contact. Eyes are the window to the soul, and although Cao Yu's performance was only a short minute, it was already stunning enough, even more stunning than the appearance of a fairy sister. Jiying, this kid is very good at acting, I'm afraid. Lin Jiying's agent frowned slightly after watching Cao Yu's performance. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned his head and noticed that Lin Jiying's face looked a bit ugly. He quickly shut up. Not bad, Cao Yu, take a break first. Let's discuss with the directors and we'll give you the result later. Zhang Dumao is a producer with greater power in casting than the director. After giving Cao Yu a word, he called all 4 directors together and prepared to cast Duan Yu. Anyway, both competitors are here. Thank you. Cao Yu thanked Lu Yifei and then sat aside, playing with her phone. The goal has been achieved, as long as it's not embarrassing, it doesn't matter to him whether he can be chosen or not. What do you think? Zhang Dumao took a sip of goji berry tea and asked with a smile, unable to tell which one he leaned towards. I think this young man has good acting skills and is also suitable for his age, but the previous 2 performances were not ideal. I'm worried that there might be problems during the actual shooting. A director glanced at Lin Jiying and shook his head, saying, Director Zhao's words make sense, and this young man is a newcomer with no appeal at all, afraid of affecting the ratings. Another director surnamed Zhu also leaned towards Lin Jiying. Zhao and Zhu, but have you ever thought about the management's intentions? Director Yumin, however, feels that it's just a character. In the future, when working in the circle, the management's intentions still need to be considered. I think Director Yu has considered everything very comprehensively. Although this little Cao is a newcomer, his acting skills are not to be underestimated. Besides, with our director Zhang's signature, his ratings are definitely not a problem. Zhou Xiaowen expressed his opinion and then turned his gaze to Zhang Jizhong, who was slightly squinting his eyes. Throughout the vicissitudes of life, only love is an eternal myth. Tides rise and fall, never regretting the promise of true love. In Zhang Jizhong's mind, he was thinking back to the song that Cao Yu had hummed. When he heard Zhou Xiaowen's question, he immediately made a decision and said, I'll choose Cao Yu for the role of Duan Yu. As soon as these words were spoken, Lin Jiying's agent, who had been listening attentively, immediately stood up and said, Why? Jiying, we have so many representative works, and you also know the popularity on Taiwan. What does this kid have? At such times, it was natural for the agent to come forward, but Lin Jiying's face was already a bit ugly. He came over today to sign the contract. Who knew that the role was directly taken over, and no one could bear it? Cao Yu, who continued to play with his phone on the side, seemed to have guessed something after listening to several directors discussing it. He chuckled inwardly and said, There's someone above me. However, Zhang Dumao gave a reason that surprised everyone even more. Because he is young, and we plan to have him sing the ending song of our drama. I'm not young. At the age of 27, Lin Jiying's face became even more unsightly. It doesn't matter if I lose my character, but being called old, can I bear it, little whirlwind? P.S. Follow-up reading is really important for the author. Please help me and try to support me as much as possible. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Mythology. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Mythology in life. You never know which one comes first, tomorrow or accidents. Xiao Whirlwind Lin Jiying came to Yanjing this time to sign a contract with the production team of Heavenly Dragon and prepare to start production in August. Who knew, just over a month after booting up, that my character had been changed by someone else? If he were to replace his own, he might be a big shot, but the other person is a young man he has never seen before, which makes him feel ashamed. Equally unbelievable is Lin Jiying's agent. She saw her own artist's face look ugly and knew she couldn't afford to lose it. Director Zhang, our Xiaoji is only 27 years old, not young enough. Moreover, Xiaoji has a considerable fan base in mainland China. Although this person's acting skills are good, if you choose a newcomer, it may affect the ratings. Do you worry about the lack of ratings for my play, Zhang Dazhu? Zhang Jizhong waved his hand and didn't take it seriously. He deserved this confidence. More importantly, he really likes the song that Cao Yu sang. The agent had no choice but to continue. How about having them change into costumes and see how their image looks? Before Zhang Jizhong could answer, Lin Jiying suddenly stood up and glanced at Cao Yu, who was casually playing with his phone. He then said in a deep voice, "Sister Zhong, let's go. Just one character, need to change costumes." Lin Jiying couldn't afford to lose such a person. Another thing is that the boy named Cao Yu is not inferior in appearance to himself. Director Zhang, I hope to collaborate next time. Agent Zhong Yucheng shook her head helplessly. Originally, this drama was a great opportunity for Little Whirlwind to enter the mainland, but now such an accident has occurred. They left the Netscape building and the paparazzi waiting here surrounded Lin Jiying's car. Jimmy, what do you think of the character Duan Yu? Jimmy, as your first collaboration with a mainland director, will you feel any pressure? Jimmy, can you reveal a little bit about this shooting plan? The paparazzi are still unaware of what just happened and keep asking questions. Faced with countless cameras, Lin Jiying maintained a smile, but it was very ugly and a bit awkward. He didn't answer any questions from the reporter and, under the protection of 2 bodyguards and a manager, went straight into the car without saying a word. Cao Yu, a young man who has just emerged from the thatched cottage, you wait. After the car had driven a long way, Lin Jiying looked at the distant building and said in his heart with hatred. Being robbed of the show, he was originally just a bit unhappy, but now hearing the reporter's question, he feels too embarrassed. What's going on? It was pretty good when we arrived. Why was it like this just now? Did something happen? The reporters were at a loss, already imagining how to report news about Taiwanese actors playing big names. A few hours later, they finally found out that Lin Jiying's role had been taken over by someone. And Lin Jiying was replaced by a new student from Beijing University named Cao Yu. The paparazzi were all in an uproar, silently tearing up the original script and quietly writing. The newcomer from Beijing was recognized by Zhang Jizhong's keen eyes and will replace Lin Jiying in the role of Duan Yu. This is big news. Cao Yu, who was still in the audition room, was unaware of these things. He was originally just accompanying his friends to audition, but he was actually selected, which surprised him a bit. The landlady was accompanying her sister for an audition, but she was selected. Zhang Li also achieved the best baojia in this way. What about me? However, this is not a big deal. I mainly snatched the scene of selling fake drugs, which feels quite good. I have chosen everything, and I have also experienced the addiction of a male protagonist. Anyway, in my previous life, I have never experienced what it feels like to be a male protagonist. Moreover, buying a QQ domain name definitely costs a lot of money. Although I have a wealthy woman, it's best not to let her know about this matter. At this moment, Cao Yu's mind was full of things to play with and make a profit. At this moment, Zhang Jizhong's voice came to his ears. Xiaoyu, do you have a contracted film and television company? Cao Yu was taken aback for a moment, lifted his head, and then shook his head again, saying, no. Oh, it's okay, then take a look at this contract. Anyway, it was recommended by the management, and it doesn't matter if there is a company behind it. Zhang Jizhong came up with a contract. Cao Yu walked over and took a brief look. He saw that the remuneration stated in the contract was 10,000 yuan per episode, with an estimated 40 episodes, or 400,000 yuan. The estimated filming time was 5 months. Damn it, when I was in martial arts, I had a talent of 200 yuan per day. I made money by starring in Real Goddess. It seems that after filming this movie, I can raise some money to buy QQ domain names. Thinking of that long-awaited domain name, Cao Yu's eyes lit up with joy. Zhang Jizhong, who was standing beside him, looked in his eyes and smiled, saying, "Xiaoyu, this is just the remuneration for the film. It's the same as Hu Jun and Xiao Lu. As for your song, if you're willing, we can purchase it separately. Is your song original?" Song. Everyone present was taken aback. What song? Can this young man still sing? Even Lu Yifei raised her head at this moment, looking curiously at this very handsome Cao Yu, wanting to know what song it was. Even the producer was so interested. "Dizzy, what original can I create? As for who created it, I don't even know, I only know who sang it." Cao Yu, however, felt a bit embarrassed, saying that he had created it himself. That's plagiarism. It wasn't written by oneself, so who is it? Forget it, in the world of cultured people, can this be called plagiarism? Besides, I can also stand and earn money. Anyway, these are the basic operations of a reborn person. How can I be independent? Cao Yu comforted himself in his heart and smiled. The myth that director Zhang just said is my song, but this song is sung by a man and a woman in pairs. That song is called Myth. Hee, it's a nice name, it's a bit interesting. Upon hearing the title of the song, Zhang Jizhong nodded first and then said, the duet between men and women is just right. You don't know, Lu Yifei has also learned vocal music. How about you give it a try? For Zhang Jizhong, let the two of them give it a try first. After all, Cao Yu is the author. If he sings well, this song can also serve as a gimmick for promotional videos. If your singing skills are not good, then find someone else to sing and buy the copyright. Cao Yu glanced at Lu Tianxian, who had an expectant expression on his face, and smiled. This song requires high singing skills, especially for girls. I think it's better for director Zhang to invite Sister Hong to sing it. I can't do it. Lu Yifei suddenly felt a little unhappy, wishing to point at Cao Yu's nose. Why can't I look down on me? At least, I have been practicing singing since I was young. What kind of song are you, so awesome? I can't even sing. Sister Hong. Director Zhang hesitated a bit. Hong Jia and Han Hong have a high reputation in the circle, and inviting them is a considerable expense. How about this? I'll write out the lyrics and the song first. Cao Yu saw Lu Tianxian staring at him and chuckled, why don't you write the score? He knows some music score himself. In his previous life, when he was wandering and bored, he liked to play the guitar and harmonica. Although he was not proficient, he could have written the score without any problem. I don't know why, just now when I saw this little girl staring at me, I wanted to get angry with her. Ah! Lu Tianxian didn't expect that Cao Yu would go so far. Just now, he said he couldn't sing, and now he has to write his own score. You have such thick skin. Unfortunately, in front of so many directors and producers, she has a thin skin and cannot refuse. However, there was a hint of hatred towards Cao Yu in his eyes. Do you have a guitar? A few minutes later, with the help of Zhang Jizhong, he brought a guitar. Cao Yu took it, glanced at it, and casually flicked it, feeling that it was pretty good, much better than the one he played in the previous life. Seeing that Cao Yu was quite skilled in his movements, Lu Yifei, who was preparing to write scores, surprisingly had some expectations. What kind of song would interest Zhang Dashu? Cao Yu adjusted the tone of his guitar, looked up at Lu Tianxian's expectant gaze, took a deep breath, and his expression immediately became serious. Sing well first, and you can still sell for the price without biting your hand. He seems to have changed people. Lu Tianxian was taken aback for a moment, but he didn't expect this annoying guy to take things seriously. Dong dong dong, Zhang Jizhong on the side also nodded and squinted his eyes. Cao Yu is very skilled in playing the guitar, unlike young people in their 20s, but more like a singer with over a decade of experience. The prelude was very beautiful and amazed everyone. After a few preludes, the singing began. Dreamers, familiar faces, you are the gentleness I am waiting for, even if tears flood the sky and earth I won't let go. Cao Yu's singing voice, although not comparable to that of outstanding singers, is also of good timbre. Everyone was stunned. This song is really good, the lyrics and music have a very good flavor, which is indeed very suitable for the passionate love between Xiaofeng and Azu in Tianlong. The sound of the guitar continued, and Lu Tianxian listened quietly to the song, forgetting to write the score. The lyrics are beautiful and the melody is beautiful. Also, this annoying man plays very well. Cao Yu sang with both male and female voices, quickly reaching the climax. Throughout the vicissitudes of life, only love is an eternal myth. Tides rise and fall, never regretting the promise of true love. How many pains entangle, how many nights struggle, grasp your hands tightly, let me never be separated from you. Although Cao Yu broke the high notes, it did not affect the beauty of this song at all. Sorry, I got up high. After singing a section, Cao Yu played the guitar and self-deprecated for a moment. Sure enough, it's so difficult. At this moment, Lu Yifei's displeasure just now has completely disappeared. She understands that she cannot sing this climax either. Good song, really good song. With this song, this play will definitely become popular. Similarly, several directors and Zhang Jizhong understand that they must have made a profit this time. Some good songs are hard to come by. Even in Zhang Demao's heart, he has a dream, which is to make his martial arts films win the highest award in TV dramas, the Flying Apsaras Award. Perhaps this song will help him realize his dreams. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. 6. Country call. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 6. Call from the United States. You are the only beautiful myth in my heart. At the end of the song, the sound of the guitar gradually subsided. At the door of the room, many people were also attracted by the song and gathered around, almost everyone immersed in this song. Zhang Jizhong opened his eyes, nodded, and remained silent. This is a very touching song, truly breathtaking. Lu Yifei was somewhat moved when she heard this. She held her pen tightly and stared for a while before realizing that the paper in front of her was still blank, with no notes. Just a delicate pretty face, a bit rosy. Let's put this song at the end of the film. I'll go invite Han Hong and sign the contract later. After a while, the quiet atmosphere was disrupted by Zhang Jizhong's voice. Okay. Cao Yu didn't mind seeing the producers so happy. Why isn't there a single word? At this moment, Zhang Jizhong realized that the white paper in front of Lu Yifei was empty. Director Zhang, I'm sorry, this song sounds too good. I was so engrossed in it just now. Lu Yifei quickly apologized, looking a bit awkward and quite cute. Zhang Jizhong immediately ordered, we will draft a contract, and you and Xiao Yu will go next door and write down the lyrics and music. Moreover, in the future, you will also need to familiarize yourselves with the play. The little girl quickly agreed, and she also had some expectations because she could listen to Cao Yu sing again. As they walked out of the room, the onlookers, especially the male contestants, all looked at Cao Yu with envy on their faces. On the one hand, I envy him for changing the protagonist of a song, and on the other hand, being alone with Lu Tianxian probably makes them dare not even dream of it. Arriving at a small room next door, Lu Yifei's watery big eyes curiously looked at Cao Yu and said, your name is Cao Yu, and you also come from Beijing. How come I haven't seen you before? You're a big star and haven't stayed at school for a few days. It's strange that you know me. Cao Yu held the guitar, pulled up a stool, and was ready to start playing. I actually just filmed a movie about a big celebrity. Lu Yifei smiled sweetly, feeling quite satisfied in her heart. After all, becoming an actress has always been her dream. There will be more in the future. Your acting skills are also quite good, and you can also write songs. You will definitely not be inferior to me in the future. Actually, I'm just playing and acting as a celebrity, I'm not interested. No wonder you had a laugh just now, Louis Fei said, preparing her pen and paper and saying seriously, I'm sorry to trouble you. She's really a polite little girl. Cao Yu praised Louis Fei's cultivation in his heart, and played and sang Myth from beginning to end, pausing for a while to allow Louis Fei to record the melody. You are so talented that you can write such a song. This time, Louis Fei was very serious. She finished writing all the songs and handed them to Cao Yu. She smiled and said, I'll give you the lyrics. Cao Yu put down his guitar and took the paper, only to find that not only did Louis Fei's handwriting look very beautiful, but his own handwriting, although unattractive, still stubbornly wrote the lyrics below. This person is so strange. His handwriting is so ugly, yet he can create such a beautiful love song. It's a bit strange. Louis Fei looked at Cao Yu, who was buried in writing lyrics, feeling a bit confused. Ding ding ding, half of the lyrics were written when his phone suddenly rang. Taking out his phone, Cao Yu discovered that it was actually an overseas call from the United States. Is that so? Cao Yu suddenly remembered that he had sent an email to the person who owned the QQ domain name and left his contact information. Hello. Hello, on the other side was fluent English, and the fast Cao Yu couldn't understand it at all. He, who was only admitted to the higher vocational college of Beijing, was already a mess in English, whether before or now. Are you Robert? After holding it for a while, Cao Yu finally spoke some awkward Chinglish. Puff. Louis Fei couldn't help but almost burst out, but heard Cao Yu continue to say on the phone, can you speak Chinese? This time, it was clearly much better than before, but Louis Fei still felt a bit uncomfortable. I'll do it. Seeing Cao Yu's uncomfortable expression, Louis Fei extended a jade hand and smiled. Okay. Cao Yu still had self-awareness, so he had to hand his phone to Louis Fei. If you write, have a dictionary and speak English. Don't joke, it's been so many years since I gave it back to the teacher. Those few words just now almost killed me. The phone is not bad, it's still the latest model. This was Louis Fei's first reaction, and she chatted with the other person for a while before saying to Cao Yu, this foreigner said, you want to buy his domain name, and I'm asking how much you plan to spend. It's indeed him. Cao Yu was excited and his brain spun rapidly. The American he contacted, named Robert, did not have QQ when he registered this domain name. However, this guy hung this domain name on the trading platform for $2 million. Cao Yu had previously sent him an email stating that he was very interested in this domain name and left his contact information. Now you have indeed called, it seems that the other party is eager to take action. And he was well aware that this guy later sold this domain name to Penguin for only $110,000. This amount of money can still be paid when Cao Yu's current salary is raised. This is the foundation for his future worry-free food and clothing. After thinking for a while, he said to Louis Fei, how much do you want from him? After saying a few more words on the phone, Louis Fei replied, the other party wants $500,000. Damn it, almost 5 times. I don't have that much money. Do you want to ask my rich woman for it? How could I be so embarrassed to ask for so much money? If she asks me what I want this money for, I won't be able to answer. Cao Yu hesitated for a while before finally wielding his dragon-slaying knife and saying, there are too many, at most 100,000. Louis Fei glanced meaningfully at Chaoyang and muttered to herself, what exactly is this Cao Yu doing? What domain name is so expensive? It's all priced at hundreds of thousands of dollars. At that time, the domain name supervision in Huayu was not very strict, and little girls like Louis Fei, who had no worries about food and clothing, naturally did not know about these. However, she still passed on what Cao Yu had said. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone, which made Cao Yu a little nervous, afraid that the other person would be scared away by himself. The anxious mood lasted for a while, and the other party spoke up with a number. Although not by the earpiece, Cao Yu still heard it. $200,000. To be honest, this amount is not expensive, but it is also not cheap for Cao Yu now. Even if he receives the remuneration for Heavenly Dragon and the copyright usage fee for Myth, it is far from enough. But this is his opportunity, although it is higher than the target price. The other party is missing so much, so Robert still doesn't know the value of this domain name. Thinking of this, Cao Yu did not immediately agree, but whispered in Chinese to Louis Fei, pressed down again. Finally, with the help of Louis Fei, the price was negotiated at $180,000. It seems that the little girl doesn't know how to make a price, so there's nothing she can do. Upon hearing this number, Cao Yu breathed a sigh of relief. Although there was still a considerable gap from his goal of $100,000 in business, he couldn't always think of picking up loopholes. If he needed to make a move, he had to make a decisive move. It was the safest way to get things in his hands. I don't know much English myself, so if someone realizes the value of this domain name, they might cross the line and not even get 800,000 yuan. The key to doing business is stability, determination, and courage. If you lose here, you can make money elsewhere. At this point, he nodded in a low voice and said, "Tell him, okay, I will send him an email when I go back and arrange for someone to trade with him." After speaking, he became somewhat puzzled and said, $18,000 at the current exchange rate, that's nearly 1.5 million renminbi. Do you really want to go find my family Yang Shushue? What excuse will you find then? If there's really no other way, that's all we can do. With a sigh in his heart, Cao Yu took the phone handed back by Louis Fei and said with a sunny smile, "Thank you. A small matter. You've been a big help to me. I didn't expect you to be able to act, write music scores, sing, speak English so well, and it said you're also good at dancing." Hey, although Cao Yu's praise made Louis Fei feel a little proud, she still sighed and said softly, "Actually, I don't want to learn so much. It's all because my mother forced me." Upon hearing these words, Cao Yu looked up and found that the little girl's eyes were filled with helplessness. He immediately understood Louis Fei's feelings. As a teenage girl, not only does she have to learn so much, but she also has to act, which must be very tiring. She should not have the freedom and happiness that ordinary children should have. When he was young in his previous life, he also idolized Louis Fei. After all, appearance does have a great killing power for young men. Later on, when I saw too many things in the entertainment industry, fans turned around, and later on, I became more inclined towards mature individuals. However, seeing Louis Fei's somewhat helpless expression, he smiled and said, "I feel like you're cursing." Ah! Louis Fei suddenly realized and blushed slightly, feeling a bit embarrassed. Tianxian is Tianxian, and her blushing face is very cute. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Investment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Investment. On that day, Cao Yu signed 2 contracts with the production team of Heavenly Dragon, one to play the male lead Duan Yu, and the other to use the copyright of Myth. He doesn't have a management company, and the film fee is 400,000 yuan and the song usage fee is 50,000 yuan, both of which will be his. Unfortunately, he can't get the money yet. When did you have this skill and even write songs? You even got the male lead. On the way back, my friend Pang Yuan rubbed Cao Yu's head with envy in his eyes. Cao Yu could only half-jokingly say, "Brother, now you are both skilled in both literature and martial arts. Why not accept it? What do I admire you for? Did you find a wealthy woman? You got the male lead, isn't it your old north-nosed face? Call Shu Shui Lao baby again, and I will sever ties with you." Cut. Pang Yuan Kai wouldn't think that his friend of over a decade would break up with him because of a woman. Impossible. After joking for a while, he said, "Did you help me get the character Zhuang Juxian?" "I just want to see you play Zhuang Juxian," Cao Yu said with a wicked smile. "You definitely did it on purpose. What's wrong? Not satisfied? If you're not satisfied, hit me. Do you think I dare not? Ah, are you really taking action?" Being punched, although it didn't hurt at all, Cao Yu screamed very exaggeratedly. After a while of fuss, Pang Yuan suddenly said seriously, "Brother, thank you." A simple sentence moved Cao Yu a bit, but he was also a bit uncomfortable. He lightly pounded Pang Yuan and smiled, "If you really want to thank me for my words, I won't call my family Shu Shui Lao Bei Bai in the future. Is that woman really that good? I'd love to meet her if there's a chance." Upon hearing Cao Yu's words, Pang Yuan had some doubts about the woman who was with her good friend. Taking Pang Yuan back to his hotel, Cao Yu drove back to Yang Shushue's villa. The villa area in the suburbs under the moonlight is very quiet, and those who can live here are either wealthy or noble. Cao Yu was half lying in bed, thinking about QQ domain names. The email to Robert has been sent and he has been informed that he is looking for an agent from the United States to help him complete the transaction. In fact, he is trying to buy some time to make money. According to Tianlong's filming plan, this drama can be completed in 4 months, and we should be able to receive the money before the end of the year to complete the final transaction. How should I give Shu Shui any other money? Worried, the door opened and a beautiful woman with curly hair, dressed in a set of silk pajamas, walked in combing her freshly dried hair. Although a beautiful woman is nearly 40 years old, she maintains an excellent figure, with both the slender figure of a young girl and the mature and rich charm of a woman. Especially the curvaceous figure, propped up in a round curve under the pajamas. Under the soft lighting in the room, the skin that had just taken a shower looked smooth and snow-white. Shu Shui. Seeing the seductive look of the beautiful woman, Cao Yu softly called out, feeling an inexplicable flame burning in his body. "What's going on? I'm hungry, I'll have my aunt cook something for you." Yang Shushue really likes this handsome big boy, sitting by the bed with her hands on his abdominal muscles, feeling the power above. "I want to eat you." Not long after, the voices in the room kept telling of their missing days. A fruit feast, both of them enjoyed it thoroughly. "Xiaoyu, are you missing your sister these days?" Everything was calm, and the beautiful woman Yang Shushue lay in Cao Yu's arms, her white and tender fingers circling around her chest muscles. For Cao Yu, who looked like a little milk dog but actually a little wolf dog, she couldn't help but crave it. To be honest with Cao Yu, Yang Shushue is not only beautiful, but also very kind to him. Because of his rebirth, he possesses the explosive power of a young man and the enduring power of a mature man, which is irreplaceable. By the way, how was the audition today? She really helped out. Cao Yu confirmed his previous speculation that the opportunity to audition for the male lead today was not due to the song myth, but rather because of the woman in his arms. With a touch of emotion in his heart, he hugged the woman tighter and said, "Signed, you can also be considered the male lead." Cao Yu chose to take on the role of Duan Yu today. On the one hand, he intended to play it, but deep down in his heart, he also fulfilled the dream of the previous generation who had been in the entertainment industry for more than a decade without becoming a male lead. "I heard that there are many beautiful little girls on the set. Don't miss your sister then." How could it be? It's all some little girl movies, no sister is charming. Really, of course, peaches are only delicious when they are ripe. Little rascal. The coquettishness of a mature woman sometimes becomes more tempting, making Cao Yu want to have a full meal again. Sure enough, he still couldn't resist. Who makes him a bandit? After the situation was calm, Cao Yu hesitated for a while, thinking about how to reveal the matter of borrowing money. If you speak directly, you will be looked down upon, and when Yang Shushue asks for money, he is not good at evading it. After thinking for a while, he said, "Sister Shu Shui, how is the business in the audiovisual market now?" It's quite good. The Meteor Garden and some Korean dramas and Hong Kong films introduced this year are selling very well. Yang Shushue didn't understand what the little man was going to do, and then answered, "What's wrong?" Suddenly asked this question. Shu Shui, I've been thinking about a question while browsing the internet lately. I think the internet is slowly emerging. Your CDs may sell well this year, but how many years will it take? Cao Yu's question plunged Yang Shushue into contemplation. The internet has indeed started to take off in China, which she can also see. Shu Shui, in the era of the internet, this is a major trend. Perhaps in a few years, even computers' optical drives will be phased out. It shouldn't be that exaggerated, right? Yang Shushue is a bit skeptical. How could a computer be called a computer without an optical drive? I'm just guessing. Maybe it will come true in the future. By then, what everyone needs to see can be found online. Cao Yu cannot say that this is a fact. After all, nowadays computers and floppy drives have not been completely eliminated. Go online. Yang Shushue murmured, she really can't imagine what it would be like. Is it true that audio and video stores will be eliminated? Shu Shui, I have a few ideas. Do you want to listen? What idea? I said, you must not be angry. Little baby, how could sister be angry with you? Tell me. Yang Shushue is now like a little girl, flipping over and lying on top of Cao Yu, playing with his nose and eyes. Watching the charming beauty in a really good mood, Cao Yu decided to take a nap and say, why don't you take advantage of the current booming market for audiovisual stores and slowly sell them and switch to other industries? Sell the imaging store or switch industries. Yang Shushue was somewhat surprised at the moment. She runs a film and television company, and in recent years, she has introduced some movies and TV dramas and invested in some works, all of which are just minor incidents. After all, Chinese people nowadays do not have copyright awareness. The most profitable chain of audio and video stores under Yang Shushue's umbrella is still located in hundreds of major cities across the country. If a disc is pirated, the cost is over 1 yuan, and it can be sold for 10 yuan, which is simply a huge profit. Even if it's genuine, there's still a profit of 30.4% for me to sell. Is there a mistake? Cao Yu's eyes were serious and he said, yes, taking action now can be considered as cashing out at the highest point. The smile on Yang Shushue's face gradually narrowed, and she felt a little disapproval in her heart. She likes Cao Yu because he is handsome, sunny, and can make herself feel the vitality and strength of young people. But business is business, and she hasn't been confused enough to trust Cao Yu without caring. Shu Shui, I like you and won't deceive you. After cashing out, you can do something else. Cao Yu felt the woman stop her hand movements and the completely incredulous look in her eyes, so he had to persuade again. What can be done? I have 3 ideas. Although the two were stuck together, Cao Yu's expression was very serious. Firstly, after transferring the audio and video store, cinemas can be developed in those cities. Cinema. Well, cinemas are a trend in the future. Well, the investment may not be small. Yang Shushue frowned. There are not many cinemas in the country now, and video studios and internet cafes are the mainstream. Moreover, there are not many commercial films in China, and the investment in cinemas is also large, which is not as good as audio and video stores. She thinks this idea is still a bit unreliable. P.S. Thank you for the ugly and hard stone, the divine light, and the flying snow of heaven and earth for a reward of 100 points. Thank you for remembering the 1500 points that life rewards. End of this chapter. 8. Chapter 8. 8. This song, I Wanted You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. I'll take this song. Yang Shushue did not directly refuse the proposal to open a cinema in order not to harm her little man, but asked, what is the second suggestion? Invest in film and television companies, sign actors, make movies, and produce TV dramas. And the third one? The third is very stable, and the effective time may be longer, but the returns are not bad. What kind of investment? This. Originally, Cao Yu's third plan in his mind was to invest in the internet, and he took the opportunity to mention the matter of borrowing money to buy a domain name. But after pondering for a while, he hesitated. Yang Shushue was not optimistic about cinemas and opening film and television companies. How could he be optimistic about virtual networks? Finally, he did not mention borrowing money and only said, the safest thing is to buy a house. Although the effectiveness of the house may be slow, I guarantee that it will definitely double several times in the future. Cao Yu had an unforgettable pain in the housing prices of future generations. He has been living in Yanjing and Hengdian for nearly 20 years, and in the end, not to mention the millions of houses in big cities, even the small county town in his hometown has housing prices of 561 square meters. Men don't have a house, either they can't get a wife, or they can be a receiver. Sometimes even connecting to Pan Xia is not enough qualification. The power of the mother-in-law has not yet been demonstrated, and the Wenzhou real estate speculation group has not yet gained momentum. Currently, the housing prices in Yanjing are only about 4,000 yuan, which is still the best location. In the future, it will increase by more than 10 times. House. Unexpectedly, Yang Shushue's eyes lit up this time and she said, this idea is quite good. There are still 6 years left until the Olympics, so we can stock up on it. As a successful female businessman, Yang Shushue also has a keen eye for investment. However, in the cinema, she really can't see any signs of going viral. You can buy a house, but as for the rest, Shu Shui, you can take your time to think about it. Anyway, there's no rush. Cao Yu knew that by the end of the year, there would be a film that truly made Chinese people willing to enter the cinema, and that would be released. Unexpectedly, my little man is still an investment master, and I never saw it before. Yang Shushue's smile was very boring, and while praising it, she wrapped around like an octopus. Although she didn't quite agree with Cao Yu's first suggestion, there would definitely be no problem with the third one. Yanjing is developing rapidly, and houses are hard currency. As for investing in movies and TV dramas, she is already doing them and the returns are also good. Opening another entertainment company is not impossible. I thought the young man I found was just a student, but this time I found a treasure. I contacted the production team for Cao Yu, but I didn't want my little man's life to be too boring. If I had known Cao Yu had such a vision and asked him to be his male secretary, why would I have gone to film? We still have to separate for so long. Shu Shui, you are my benefactor. Faced with such a mature female fairy, Cao Yu couldn't bear it and kissed her again that night. If he borrowed money, Cao Yu still didn't say it in the end. Although he found a wealthy woman as his girlfriend, it was because he liked mature women, so he rarely spent Yang Shushue's money, and he didn't really want to be taken care of. For the money spent on purchasing a domain name, he thought he could contact Ma Yun. After all, based on time, Taobao should have appeared in early 2003. In a courtyard in Yanjing, famous singer Han Hong suddenly received a phone call. Hello Director Zhang, why did you suddenly remember to call me? I have a song here that I would like you to take a look at. If possible, it can be used as the ending theme song for my new drama, Heavenly Dragon. Who wrote the song? Han Hong has been famous for several years, and she has sung some songs for movies and TV shows. However, she is currently in the rising stage of her career and has relatively high requirements for songs. She does not know how to sing ordinary songs. A very good young man wrote it. Zhang Jizhong was also aware of Han Hong's position among singers, but he still spoke truthfully. Young people. Have you ever heard of any outstanding composers among the younger generation in China? The woman's mind wandered, not remembering any young person in the music industry who could write a song that even a great director like Zhang Jizhong felt good about. Zhang Jizhong also heard the other party's doubts, but it was difficult to explain anything. Do you think you bought the song just because you heard it casually? Alright, why don't you come to the production team and take a look? If possible, meet this young man. If you think it's good, then you can sing the female voice and he will sing the male voice. As for the reward, don't worry. Or duet singing. Han Hong lost interest even more, and who were the people singing duets with her? Are those all top-tier celebrities, a young person? She didn't want the reputation she had finally built to be destroyed in an instant. Compensation. Han Hong cherishes her reputation even more. That young man has a good voice. Don't worry about my big beard, I can't fool you. How about I fax you the song first? Big Beard naturally understood what Han Hong was worried about. Forget it, that's what Director Zhang said. Can I not believe it? I'll go in a little while. Han Hong is also aware of Zhang Dashu's position in the film and television industry. She has filmed all 4 famous works, but her appreciation for them may be lacking. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Jizhong called Cao Yu again and said, Cao Yu, are you free today? It's Director Zhang. Hello, isn't it that I'm going to join the group in a few days? I'm going to school to take a leave. Okay, come back after your vacation. Han Hong will also come later. Line. Cao Yu heard that he wanted to meet his idol Han Hong in his previous life, so he agreed at that time. The accelerator pedal on his feet couldn't help but instantly increase. For Beidian, taking a leave of absence is nothing but normal. However, it is rare to take leave within a month of enrollment. However, when the school leaders heard that this student was going to join the crew of Heavenly Dragon, they immediately criticized him on the spot without saying a word. Netscape Building, crew of Heavenly Dragon. Zhang Jizhong was working with several directors to make final plans for the startup when suddenly a heavy thud of footsteps came from the hallway. Welcome, welcome, no need to look, just this tonnage. Zhang Jizhong and his team knew who was coming and quickly opened the door to welcome them out. Director Zhang, you're too polite. Han Hong said politely with a broad grin, then walked into the room to find a place to sit down and said straightforwardly, what kind of song can Director Zhang value so much? Sometimes, a good song can support a play, said Zhang Jizhong, handing over the lyrics and music. You can take a look first. The lyrics of the song are good, hee. The first words that caught Han Hong's eye were Lui Fei's graceful handwriting and Cao Yulong's flying phoenix dance handwriting, which made her first impression of this song not very good. Words can sometimes represent a person's personality and mood. Han Hong believes that the person who wrote the lyrics of this song should be a warrior. Can Wu Fu write such beautiful songs? However, after browsing through the lyrics and music for a few minutes, her originally smiling expression became solemn. And, unintentionally, she couldn't help but snort. Although it was just a solo performance, as soon as Han Hong spoke, the feeling of this song immediately took it to the next level. This is a rare and good song that suits me very well. The change in Han Hong's expression also made Zhang Jizhong somewhat proud. After finally waiting for Han Hong to lift her head, Zhang Jizhong seized the opportunity to smile and said, How are you? Are you still satisfied? I want to meet the person who can write this poem. Han Hong tightly grasped this song, and at this moment, she had already decided that she wanted to decide on this song herself. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. 9 Tianlong Startup. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Tianlong Power On, Dong Dong Dong. At this moment, there was a knocking at the door, and a sunny young man was standing at the door. Xiao Chao, you're here. We just talked about you, come in quickly. Look at Cao Yu, Zhang Jizhong quickly waved him in. Hello Director Zhang, hello directors. Cao Yu greeted several directors before saying to Han Hong, Sister Hong, I finally saw you. Do you know that? I'm your fan. Did you write this song? I don't know if it's that, you, or the sunny image of Cao Yu, which made Han Hong's mood suddenly improve. The impression of this young man who has just turned 20 has changed a lot. It can be said that a song like Myth came from the hands of such a young person, but she still has some disbelief. I wrote it, please give me some guidance, Sister Hong. Cao Yu's smile is very sincere and cannot be seen as fake. Han Hong looked at Cao Yu in shock for a while and said, I didn't expect you to be so talented at such a young age. It's really unimaginable to write such a beautiful song. Thank you, Sister Hong. Actually, I have always been your fan. It is my honor for you to sing this song, and I also believe that under your performance, this song will surely shine brightly. The former idol on the opposite side, Cao Yu, remained calm and composed, throwing a tall hat at him. You speak very well. Everyone loves to hear compliments, and Han Hong is no exception, feeling better. Seeing Han Hong's attitude towards Cao Yu change, Zhang Jizhong laughed at the opportunity and said, all right, let's settle the matter of the song. You can take care of the arrangement and recording of the song. Dual singing. With this young man. Han Hong suspected that she had heard the wrong song. She thought the song was for her, and she chose her own duet partner. Unexpectedly, she wanted to sing with this little guy. Can he handle this song? Doubtful. Although Cao Yu was talented, it was a pity that he was too young. Han Hong did not believe that this little guy could handle such a difficult song, especially others knew that the burst of high notes required extremely strong singing skills to achieve it. You called me Rainbow Sister, so I didn't hesitate to call you Xiao Qiao. How is your singing ability? Of course, compared to my seniors, I am a bit inferior. If you could give me some guidance, I believe I can sing well. After his rebirth, although Cao Yu had a playful attitude, it would be good if he could collaborate with people like Han Hong and be guided to leave behind a representative work in the future. Seeing Han Hong's face hesitant, he smiled and said, Sister Hong, I grew up listening to your songs. It's my dream to work with you. Do you mean I'm very old? No, Sister Hong became famous early. Since you said that, let's try to cooperate. Cao Yu spoke so well, and coupled with the fact that this song was originally written by him, Han Hong felt embarrassed to let the young person down, so she planned to give him a chance. As a senior, it is not appropriate to support young people, is it not? The song is done, the school vacation is also done, and the rest is waiting to join the group. It is now the end of August, and Zhang Jizhong has decided to start filming at the end of August. At that time, he will first shoot some parts in Yanjing and then travel to Yunnan. Several directors were also responsible for the scenes of Duanyu, Xiao Feng, and Su Zhu, while filming to save time. There are still more than 10 days before the startup, during which Cao Yu and Han Hong arranged the music for Myth, while learning to exchange singing skills with their predecessors. Not bad, your tone is very good. If the treble part is raised a bit, this song will definitely be more perfect. In the recording studio, Han Hong patted Cao Yu's shoulder and said with a smile, you can practice your voice when you have time. Although the time is a bit short, it will definitely be stronger than now. After you finish filming and during the post-production period, we will record this song. After a few days, Han Hong became increasingly satisfied with Cao Yu, guiding him like a teacher. In addition, Cao Yu can now play the lead male role, and if he becomes really popular, he will also be a good friend. In the entertainment industry, having one more friend is always right. I will work hard and not let my seniors down. After several days of communication, he gained a lot and his singing skills also improved significantly. Cao Yu bowed deeply, which can be considered as a tribute to this admirable senior. Time flies by, until August 22nd. In the royal villa, after a burst of lingering emotions, Yang Shushue leaned down on Cao Yu's chest with a satisfied expression and said reluctantly, when you're on the set, don't forget to miss your sister and come back to surprise you." "What surprise?" Cao Yu looked at the beautiful woman with a mischievous smile like a young girl and said curiously. "Surprise is just a surprise. If you say it now, how can it still be called a surprise?" Yang Shushue nodded at Cao Yu's lips, full of mischievous girls, and said, "Also, you can't like other little girls on the set, otherwise we won't give you surprises." "I know, my family's Shushue is so good. Even if the little girl delivers her to my door, I wouldn't want it. You men can say things that sound good, but my sister just likes to listen." Yang Shushue became increasingly infatuated with Cao Yu, feeling that staying with young people for a long time made her feel like she had returned to her youth, and sometimes even worried that this young person would leave her in the future. Therefore, she has always wanted to give more to Cao Yu. But since I met Cao Yu, this little guy not only didn't ask him for money, but even gave him a car, a phone, and so on by force. Women and men are different. Most men are people who think in the lower part of their bodies and refuse to accept their pants. They are everywhere. Women, on the other hand, are exactly the opposite. Cao Yu understood what Yang Shushue was worried about and comforted. "What I said is true. Do you think I'm interested in the beautiful girls in our school? As long as you treat your sister well, she will never let you down. I'm becoming increasingly curious about what kind of surprise it is. Don't say it. Don't say, don't say. Don't say, I'll bite you. Don't do it." After a playful moment, it gradually turned into, "I want it." Life is sometimes so elusive. Before his rebirth, Cao Yu dreamed of meeting his own bull like Wang Baoqiang and becoming famous overnight. "Unfortunately, I wasted 18 years in the entertainment industry, but I didn't even become a memorable supporting role." After being reborn, he only wanted to live his life gracefully, but unexpectedly became the protagonist. On August 27, the entire production team of Heavenly Dragon officially launched under Zhang Dashu's slogan of Unity and Cooperation. The play, Heavenly Dragon, is another martial arts masterpiece by Zhang Jizhong, following Laughing Proud and Shooting Eagle. Although there are many newcomers in the production team, such as Jiang Xian who plays Mu Wanqing, who is almost a newcomer, there are not many like Cao Yu who directly plays the male lead role. The opening ceremony was held in a hotel, and many journalists came to the scene, especially the news that Cao Yu replaced Lin Jiying. Major newspapers and entertainment media have long been paying attention to it. When it was heard that Cao Yu was just a newcomer student, the media inevitably questioned his acting skills, and some journalists even dug out that Cao Yu entered the production team through his connections with the management. "Paparazzi, you can do anything." Sure enough, the next day, various speculations and questioning reports in the newspapers almost occupied the entertainment pages of major newspapers and online entertainment news. On Taiwan Island, Lin Jiying also sneered at the report, waiting for Zhang Jizhong to regret it. He felt that without himself, this play was likely to go down the street, and then he could hate to slap the faces of these mainland directors. After the startup ceremony, there was no scene for Cao Yu a few days ago. He complied with the requirements for Yang Shushue. Not only did he not tease the young girls on the set, but he also did not gather with other actors, not just watching the script alone and memorizing lines. Although it's for fun, since we're here, we must be serious. At the beginning of the millennium, actors were generally quite dedicated and had to memorize their lines, not to the point of using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 to deceive the audience. The only person who accompanied him was his friend Pang Yuan, and some even speculated that the two were not gay. As for chatting up Louis Fei, an acquaintance of another production team, he is not interested. However, due to newspaper reports on the crew of The Heavenly Dragon, there are still many people on the crew who are not very optimistic about him, which is actually a bit jealous. Therefore, many members of the crew feel that the director will probably have to work hard this time. That guy who plays Duanyu, I heard he's still a student. I don't know what kind of backdoor he took, but he actually got the first male lead. There is a rumor that it was brought in by the management. I don't know how much time this newcomer will waste on everyone. Yeah, I hate this kind of hard work from the capital. Various rumors of envy, jealousy, and hatred circulated among the crew, and many people also pointed fingers at Cao Yu. Who makes Cao Yu appear less sociable? If you don't feel sour, who do you feel sour about? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. The domain name has been registered by someone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The domain name has already been registered by someone. Cao Yu naturally chose to ignore the rumors about himself in the crew. They criticize them, it's none of their business, they just come to play, just be happy, and argue with these people. Are they compatible? Are they reborn? Zhang Jizhong, with a big beard, was afraid that this young man would be under pressure and even had a conversation with Cao Yu. After all, Cao Yu personally made the decision. Don't worry, Director Zhang. I don't have much pressure. They said their words, but I didn't hear them. Don't worry, I will perform well. Pressure. This word doesn't even exist in Cao Yu, okay? Before his rebirth, although he could not even be considered an 18th-tier actor, he had seen countless old actors and young actors, and had his own understanding of acting. Sure enough, after the conversation, Zhang Jizhong felt that he had really thought too much. As a young man like Cao Yu, he couldn't see any pressure at all. The progress of the production team was very fast. The scene where Xiao Yuanshan was ambushed and Xiao Feng and Ah Zhu were filmed at Yanmen Pass took only 3 days to complete. Next, there was a scene where 3 brothers and a group of heroes gathered outside Yanmen Pass, and Xiao Feng committed suicide and jumped off a cliff. This scene is very grand, with over 100 performances in a group, and it is also the most challenging performance. Especially after Xiao Feng jumped off the cliff, as a sworn brother, Duan Yu had to perform that kind of sad feeling, which was not something that could be verified by a dry howl. Photography in place. Record in place. 3, 2, 1, start. With a loud bang, under the sound of the recording board, Hu Jun slammed the ground and pulled up 2 short knives under pressure. Big brother. Cao Yu and Gao Hu both shouted loudly and rushed towards Hu Junfei. The camera shifted and gave Cao Yu and Gao Hu close-up shots respectively. This kid is good. The performance emphasizes hand, eye, body, technique, and step. His experience in running dragon sets and martial arts on the set, as well as his solid martial arts skills, surprised Zhang Jizhong, who had been filming martial arts for many years. Card. At this moment, director Zhou Xiaowen in front of the monitor suddenly shouted loudly. Newcomers are newcomers, hee hee. That's right, acting doesn't just rely on being handsome. Many actors around were gloating at the director's call to stop, waiting to see the good play. What kind of people are they? I think my brother acted quite well. In the crowd, Peng Yuan sneered at these people for a moment, but he also felt a bit strange about the director's sudden call to stop. Gao Hu, your expression just now was not in place. You had more worries, shocks, and anxieties on your face. Also, Xiao Feng's knife hasn't been inserted yet, so there's no need to be so sad. Sure enough, the director shouted to everyone, and you guys, will also perform that kind of shock later. Zhou Xiaowen specifically mentioned Gao Hu and others, but did not mention Cao Yu. The capital's face is really great. Everyone felt that this was the director's saving face for Cao Yu. At this moment, Zhou Xiaowen suddenly said to Cao Yu, the movements and expressions just now were very precise, that's the kind of state. Let's do it again. Those who were waiting to see the joke suddenly looked embarrassed, although their faces were a bit dissatisfied, their voices of discussion were much quieter. The familiar act of pretending to force a face is a pity. Cao Yu was quite calm about this, and he had a clear idea of how well he acted. Before my rebirth, I was the same as them. Now that I look back at these people, I am too lazy to argue with them. Damn it, did the director praise me? My brother, is he really a student? Did he cheat just now? Unlike others, Pang Yuan was curious about his buddy's explosive acting skills. Has he never acted before? When did his acting become so good? Cao Yu, it's a bit interesting. In the crowd, Louis Fei was also shocked by Cao Yu's acting skills, and for the second time, she developed some interest in this man when she had time to communicate. Sure enough, in the next few shots, Cao Yu, who had already thoroughly studied the script and lines, was basically effortless. Hu Jun, who is already somewhat famous, even feels overwhelmed in his acting skills. His behavior still dealt a heavy blow to the faces of those who wanted to see a joke. Although he himself was unintentional. I did not misjudge anyone. This young man has spirituality and will definitely develop well in the future. Even Zhang Jizhong, who was directing the filming, nodded secretly and said, if I had discovered him earlier, Yang Kong, who was shooting sculptures in the upper part, could have played. Yang Kong missed it, but there's still Yang Guo. Suddenly, Zhang Jizhong had a bold idea in his mind. The scene at Yanmen Pass was filmed in just 7 days, and then the production team went their separate ways to shoot different scenes. The film and television city in Yunnan has reached its late stage, and Cao Yu followed the production team to go south to Yongkang to shoot scenes in Yanzhou and Mantua Mountain Villa. Cao Yu and his good friend Pang Yuan can only part ways here just as the filming of Heavenly Dragon was in full swing. A room in a lakeside garden in Hangzhou was holding a top-secret meeting. The attendees were all very young, and everyone didn't know why the boss was holding this secret meeting. 10 employees gathered in the living room, with everyone's gaze fixed on the boss who was not tall and had an outstanding appearance. In the next 6 months, this will be your battlefield, and all of you will complete an important project with contemporary significance here. The boss, under the gaze of everyone, first stated the purpose of concentrating these people here. Mr. Ma, what project? An employee looked a bit strange, but also looked expectant. Does it have contemporary significance? It does sound tall and upscale. Nowadays, the headquarters has long moved out of this community and into an office building, but they have returned to this room again, which is the holy land of the company's establishment. The boss wants to do something big. Although people's eyes were blazing with flames as they gazed at the boss in front of them, whose appearance was not astonishing. We started as B2B, but we not only need to do B2B, but also C2C. As soon as the boss Ma Yun said these words, the whole room was in an uproar and began to whisper. In China, the current local C2C platform is almost 80% occupied by eBay. Everyone did not expect that the boss's gaze would be on C2C, competing with eBay's investment in eBay. Pop pop. Ma Yun clapped her hands and stopped everyone's discussion, then said, I have conducted research with Mr. Kai and Mr. Sun, and C2C will definitely be the development direction of e-commerce in the future. Everyone nodded silently. Ma is always their idol, and the boss's vision and strategy are highly trusted and recognized by everyone at Alibaba. The construction of the website is up to you, and it must be tested before March next year and fully launched before May. The idea of C2C this time is also considered Ma Yun's second entrepreneurship, and he is very cautious. After speaking, he stood up and looked around everyone, loudly asking, do you have confidence? Do you have confidence? Do you have confidence? 3 questions were asked, one louder than the other, and the answer louder than the other. The last time, everyone stood up, raised their fists, and their expressions were as if they had been beaten with chicken blood. Very good. Ma Yun is very satisfied, motivating employees should be like this. Since the project has been finalized, let's brainstorm and give the platform a memorable and catchy name. Mr. Ma, our B2B platform is called Alibaba. Why don't we just call it Alimama for C2C? An elder of the 18 Arhat immediately suggested. As soon as this proposal was made, most of the people present nodded in agreement. Ma Yun's most capable right arm, Kai Chongxin, shook his head and said, "Ali ma is too casual, not loud enough, and has no characteristics." Everyone began to gossip and express their own opinions and ideas. But after talking for a while, Ma Yun just didn't nod. A typical shopping employee surnamed Yi suggested, "Why not call it Taobao, so that everyone can find their favorite treasures on our platform?" As soon as this name was given, not only did everyone's eyes brighten, but Ma Yun, who was originally somewhat disappointed, immediately sat up straight. Taobao, this name is good, what do you think?" "Well, it's good, it's very loud, and it can also be remembered by everyone." Kai Chongxin nodded and immediately thought of something. He sat next to a computer and said, "I'll first check if the domain name has been registered." "I don't know if I don't check, but I was shocked when I checked. Not only has .com already been registered, but also .net, .cn, and .com, .cn have all been registered. The domain name has been registered. How could it be possible? The word Taobao was not even available online before, how could it have been registered?" Ma Yun couldn't believe it, but when she came to the computer, she found that it had actually been registered, and it was registered this year. The name of the registrant was Cao Yu. End of this chapter.